Rob's Arcade, Rob's Arcade, where the games get played and the games get saved so they can be played on another day. Rob's Arcade.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. I am your host, of course, Mr. What? No. Oh man, this happened the last time. So this is my second go around on the show. Apparently, my microphone was not working, dude. You're not even lighting that. What are you doing? My microphone was not working on my first go around, and I thought something was up because, like, typically the mouth will kind of move around while my character is talking, as you can see now. And before it wasn't. I was like, "What the heck's going on?" But it wasn't like connected right. So I did a whole like rehearsal. So hopefully the second go through will be just as good. For those of you who are not familiar with the Monday show, welcome. I like to hang out with you guys at least twice a week on Monday and Wednesdays. Kind of check up on you guys, see how your weekend was on Monday, rap about some stuff, kind of talk to you guys a little bit, and then I like to come back every Wednesday with my number one passion, comic books, new comic book day, and share all those titles that I pick up with you guys. But yeah, if you're not familiar with the Monday show, one, go ahead. You must be new here. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But also, like I said, it's just where I kind of catch up and just see how your weekend was and make sure you guys had a great weekend. Go ahead, you can hit that comment section, leave me little comments, let me know what you guys were up to. My weekend was pretty blah. I think I mentioned in my New Game Friday that my wife was going to be out of town for the weekend. She's still out of town. Well, not really out of town. She's just over at. It's a funny situation. So Marlene, our Aunt Marlene, is watching her daughter's dog while her and her boyfriend are out of town. So Marlene is watching their dog. Carrie Ann is watching Marlene's dogs, and I'm watching our dog. So yeah, she's still over there, hanging out, and it's just been pretty quiet over here this past weekend. Really just been using the time to, it's been pretty uneventful, pretty unproductive. Just been using the time really to catch up on movies. I don't really watch a lot of movies that I want to watch necessarily all the time. Can't really watch them during the day. I spend a lot of time running around doing laundry and shopping and the housewife kind of duties. Um, So I might have like movies on and stuff during the day, kind of like while I might be folding clothes or doing certain things, but I never really get a chance to kind of sit down and really watch movies. So I kind of just went through like HBO with some different apps this weekend and just really caught up on, or really revisited, I should say, some great classics like, 48 Hours, Another 48 Hours, some fun stuff like Executive Decision. That was a fun movie with Steven Seagal getting billed as like one of the top billings of that movie. He gets killed, spoiler alert, in like the first 5 minutes or something. It's a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but it's still, he doesn't last very long. But he sacrifices himself for the good of the mission, which is, commendable. But yeah, just I think that threw everybody for a loop when, you're watching that movie for the first time and you think Seagal is going to be like the guy to save the day. And that whole team was just like, really, if you think about it, they didn't get the gas in the beginning of the movie. Like, they couldn't retrieve the DZ5, whatever it was, gas. And then while boarding the airplane to try to retrieve it, like, God, they lose Seagal. Cappy gets his, like, neck broken or something like that. It's just not a very good special ops team, if you ask me. Anyway, but yeah, just like my wife is one of those. She likes to be in the mood to watch certain movies, so um, I just had just movies pretty much playing. I watched Halloween 3, which I really didn't get to take advantage of during the Halloween season. So I've just been watching a ton of movies. Hadn't really wanted to do a whole lot of gaming or anything even this past weekend. I had like plenty of opportunity to. They got a new map on Fortnite, which I need to check out. But I just really didn't even have, like, I did play some Alien Isolation, but that's really just such a slow-paced, just kind of walking around kind of a game where you don't really need the physical or mental energy to really like get into it. It sounds so kind of silly, I'm sure, but like I couldn't even find myself last night. Buck was on GTA in the casino, and I thought about it. I was like, I can't. I really just can't bring myself to get out of bed to like when I'm watching these movies, but to like even turn the PlayStation on and just walk around GTA. I was just like really in a very lounge, chill, super lax mode last night. Like I said, just kind of watching old 90s and 80s action movies and stuff. Uh, Alien Isolation is a good game. They should probably call it Human Isolation because I dealt more with the humans than I did with aliens in that game. But I think that's a good commentary a lot of times. Actually, it's one of my favorite commentaries in any kind of like apocalyptic uh, or movie where humans face extinction and their survival is essence or key, um, essential. That's what I wanted to say. Uh, and I think that's a great, like one of my favorite. George A. Romero does a great job. One of my favorite movies that he did was, of course, he does it with a lot of his zombie films. But I think the best example is not Dawn of the Dead, but Day of the Dead, where it really shows the breakdown of like society and like people's roles and civilization and all of that. And there is some zombie stuff at the beginning of the movie and throughout the middle and stuff to kind of keep people, of course, interested. And of course, they saved that last big zombie feast for that last like 10, 15 minutes of the film. But the main stories that he deals with within that movie are about how humans treat each other, like I said, and what happens to people's roles in civilization when none of that stuff really matters anymore, and how it all kind of breaks down, and how wicked people can be. And he does a great job with that as well, I think, in Dawn of the Dead. But that's just something I've always been kind of fascinated by, and that was like a big, kind of key point to the plot of the beginning of Alien was dealing more with the people on the ship, and which I was kind of looking for Alien, which I don't know if I really wanted to find any aliens because humans were killing me left and right. I don't really think I'd be able to um, hold my own against an alien. And the stealth thing kind of like threw me too. Like that's one of those things that it always pulls me out of a video game when um, all you have to do is like kind of creep around, and that's all you do. And it's one of those things that it still bothers me with The Last of Us. I love the game, but that whole last bit, you're just kind of more sneaking around as opposed to having kind of like an adrenaline-filled like boss battle that I guess I'm used to with a lot of video games. So it just felt very like flat once I got to the end. And I've experienced games like The Incredible Hulk on different formats, like old school like GameCube or like maybe play. I mean, it was PlayStation. Might have been either like GameCube or 64 or something. I was playing The Incredible Hulk on, and it's a great game. It's like a lot of fun, and then all of a sudden, you go into Bruce Banner, and you have to kind of like, you stop smashing stuff, and now you're creeping around a lab, and it's like, just it really pulls me. I was like, if I'm playing a game, I want like some action, and I want some intensity. And I don't mind a little bit of stealth, but I don't know. Just it seemed like that's where a lot of the game was going. Like, don't get caught, don't get seen. At the same time, you've got to explore the ship and do all these things. And I don't know, just great game, but the stealth aspect started to kind of wear a little thin on me. And there are other modes. That was just like the main campaign, so maybe I'll play some of the other modes later on. But that was like the most I could muster as far as even, like I said, gaming this weekend. So just like I said, pretty chill, pretty relaxed. A lot of, like I said, just 80s and 90s movies. I didn't even read a whole lot of comics this past weekend. I thought that was pretty much what I would just focus on. Was just like I just gonna put on something in the background to watch, like nothing even like really that I'd pay attention to, and just you know pound through my comic books. But I didn't even really read a whole lot of comics this past weekend. So I don't know. Hopefully today I'll be a bit more productive. Um, but like I said, hopefully, like I said, you guys had a great weekend. I'd really like to hear from you and what you guys were up to. And then, of course, like to jump into kind of like give, you guys something to think about, something to talk about on your Monday, other than like homework and work in general. And one of the things I wanted to talk, it's actually kind of funny, like I'm talking about like executive decision and doing the right thing and um, how people treat each other in society and stuff like that, as far as like what happens when you know, the human race is faced with extinction. But it's kind of what I want to talk about today is kind of similar in that aspect, kind of an interesting segue, not really meant to be, but knowing the right thing to do and like doing the actual right thing. It sounds so obvious, of course, and like, well, yeah, like a lot of people I think struggle with that, but um, I've realized that sometimes it's hard for people to do the right thing because they might feel, uh, I don't know, like a little embarrassed or like it's not their place to get involved or, you know, whatever. And so like this past weekend, just kind of like hanging out. Like I said, Marlene left to go stay at her daughter's, and before she left, she had hand surgery. So I was at her house, kind of helping her out, talking, and just like you know, um, like I said, just kind of helping her get some things done before she headed out. And she was talking to me and like telling me like she was like she liked talking to me, and I was like very easy to talk to, and um, it's like very insightful. And I'm like, just keep the comments coming, Marlene. Just keep them, just keep those comments coming. But I was instantly aware as soon as she was saying these things that like I always wasn't like that, and that I was at one point a very shy person. I definitely take after my mother more now. I think my wife will agree and side with Marlene um, in the fact that I am easy to talk to and I do enjoy talking to people. There's nobody even here. I'm talking to you guys now. Like I have to talk to somebody, right? That's why I kind of do this. I do enjoy talking to people, but like I said, I realized almost instantly I wasn't always like that. I used to be a very shy person actually, and it would take a lot to kind of get me to come out of my shell. And I don't know really exactly when that started to change, and 20 years ago or so, I really started to like, um, I guess well, I've mentioned this before too. You read comics for so long, and it kind of takes a toll on you. So I guess maybe after like 10, 15 years or so after reading comic books, you can't help but kind of like do the right thing. But I'm kind of blown away at people, at their ability to know what the right thing do is, but the lack of. And as I was like thinking about this, like I said, I realized like I wasn't always an outgoing person myself, and that sometimes people can be a little embarrassed or even shy about these kind of things. Um, in fact, I was reminded of a particular instance where I was just kind of, like I said, thinking about this stuff this past weekend where I used to work at a restaurant, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the young niece, this waitress who used to work there, Lorena, was having her lunch, and she was finished, but she was still sitting at the booth, just kind of like on her phone. And then David and I sat down and we had our lunch. We were sitting there at the same booth with her. It was like a slow day at the restaurant, like nobody was even really coming in. And once David was finished his food, he like took his plate up, and I remember he still had like a mouthful of food. He's kind of like he's got his cell phone in one hand and his cup and the plate. And he's like trying to juggle all this stuff. And then he kind of like looks at Lorena's plate, and I can see him kind of like juggling again, trying to like make a free hand, so he could kind of like get her plate. And then it was almost like he had something to say, but he didn't want to say it. He changed his mind at the last minute, and he still got, like I said, a mouthful of like pizza or French fries or whatever it is. And he just kind of like went like, fuck it, and just like walked away. And it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen from a kid, because there was like so much like thought and processing I could see going on in his little head at that moment. And then literally just like, oh fuck it, whatever, and just like walks away. And I was pretty much done by lunch as well, so like I grabbed my plate and I grabbed Lorena's plate. I follow him to the kitchen. I'm like, dude, what the heck was that all about? Like I totally noticed your little breakdown. Like what was that all about? And he just kind of like, I don't know, he kind of like shrugged. And I was like, were you gonna like take up her plate, but then you changed your mind at the last minute? And he was kind of like, yeah. And I was like, what was that all about? He was like, well, and he said something along the lines like, David, you still, like, he's been in some of my videos. Hopefully you still watch my videos, dude. I hope you remember this. If not, it was the funniest thing. He's just like, he's a teenager now, I guess, but he was like, 11 or something at the time. And he's like, uh, well, I wanted. He was like, I was gonna do something. I was gonna get her plate, but I didn't want to like just be nice, but I didn't want to be too nice, and her think I'm like flirting with her, and like, because she's married, she's got a husband, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. Like, he wanted to be nice, but he didn't want to be like sending mixed messages to this married woman, which is totally adorable. But I was like, dude, you never have to be. I was like, are you kind of like embarrassed? He's like, yeah, kind of. I was like, you never have to be embarrassed about being nice. Like, never be embarrassed to do the right thing. Never be embarrassed to help. And I think that's what like some people might struggle with. And I didn't really think about like, why can't people just do the right thing? Like, it's just so simple. Uh, but sometimes people just don't want to get involved, or they're not really sure it's their place to get involved. I guess is what I'm getting at. And it is like it is your place to get involved. Nobody else is going to do it. You have to do it. The other day, like I said, I spent last Monday and last Tuesday, just last week, cleaning up the pond out back in my apartment complex, and I simply did it because I was just like walking the dog and tired of looking at the trash floating around in the water, and nobody else is going to clean it up. Not the maintenance guys who work here. Nobody else is going to do it. So I just took it upon myself. It took a couple of days, took a couple of hours each day, and I cleaned up the pond. And it's amazing. It looks great. You could tell like the ducks and the turtles and everything are just like they're happier. They're in a better mood. And I could wait for somebody else to do it, or just ignore it. But I choose to get involved. And I think once you choose to get involved and you choose to help and you choose to do these things, it's just like anything else, like running, working out. You become addicted to it. It's a good feeling. Drinking, whatever it is, you get addicted to it. You like doing it. You keep doing it. And sometimes it just takes that one time to kind of break through. And so it's kind of what I wanted to talk with you guys today. Is a particular instance popped in uh, to my mind while I was like thinking about it over this weekend. It was something that happened Friday that kind of like triggered all of this. But before my wife headed out for the weekend, I ran up to Walgreens, I think just to grab like an energy drink or something like that, just kind of grab a couple of things. And while I'm standing in line at Walgreens, there was like 3 or 4 people in front of me. The lady being rung up, she was like a retired like grandmother, had 3 cases of beer, uh, like like really cheap domestic beer, the camo edition packaging with that bright orange, hunter orange lettering on the box. She had 3 big cases, whatever they are, 18, 24, the big flat long cases. And she had them on a cart. It wasn't like a shopping cart. It was one of the carts that the employees used to work off of, but apparently they had no shopping carts. So it was the only thing, they had available for her to use. Which I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, but they're more like flat carts, and they're not the easiest thing to even maneuver because they wheel more from the back. They don't really steer from the front. They steer from the back more. So she's got this thing. It's kind of awkward. She's got to like get it out the parking lot or whatever, and then I guess bring the cart back in. And the lady working there is like, ma'am, if you give me a minute to uh, get the line down, because like I said, there's like 3 or 4 people in front of me, like 3 people in front of me. She's like, I'll help you out. And the old lady's like, no, 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 it's fine. And then the lady behind her is like, well, if you wait for me once I get rung up, I can help you out. And again, she's like, no, no. And everybody in line is like, even like the guy in front of me is kind of standing there with us kind of like, well, I'm not being rung up yet. I can help you out. Like, I'm not, you know. But nobody did anything. They're all kind of standing there, like, mentioning it. They all like, know it's the right thing to do. They all know the right thing to do is to help this lady with this goofy cart. The beer could easily slide across this like flat plastic surface. There's no walls to hold the other 2 cases that are sitting on the top one in place. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. It's almost like she bought 3 because she knew she was going to spill 2 of them in the parking lot. So let me get a couple extras. But I just hopped out of line. I put my energy drink down. I helped the lady. Almost kind of startled her because I kind of came out of nowhere. Just like, helped her get everything in the car. She was like asking if like, can I give you a tip or, blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, I don't want anything. It's like, if my mom knew you were out here and, I didn't help you, she'd kick my ass. Like, it's just the right thing to do. bring the cart back in after I help the lady, and of course, the employee who's ringing everybody up thanks me. She's like, "Oh, that was really sweet of you. Appreciate that. Thanks for bringing the cart back in." But then, like, everybody else was also thanking me. Like, everybody who was in line, the lady who was behind me or behind her, and the guy that was behind her, are um, thanking me. They're all done. Everybody's getting like two things. Like, everyone's like buying like a pack of gum, a candy bar, a soda. The guy in front of me was buying 2 packs of cigarettes. Nobody was like really even had a whole bunch of stuff in their hands. Like, everybody could just like easily walked out of line. But as I'm walking back in, like I said, the lady is thanking me, the guy behind her, and pardon my French, or this might seem out of place, but I was just kind of like, F these guys. Like, after thank yous, of course I didn't say that to them. I was like, yeah, no problem. But I'm starting thinking about it, like, F you guys, man. Like, really, what are you thinking? Like, you know what the right thing to do is. You know the right thing is to help this lady out to her car. All of you offered to do it, but not a single person actually did it. And it literally blew my mind. Oh, shoot, hold on. My wife is texting me real quick. Uh, so that's, I think, what triggered everything. I think that's what finally got me going. Like, why, if people know what the right thing to do is, what is it so hard? But then, like I said, I started thinking about it, and I started coming to the realization that, like I said, I wasn't always an outgoing person. I used to be very shy myself, and that in dealing with some people, like, even like I said, David and stuff, that like it might be a little embarrassing, and you might feel like a little bit like it's not your place, to help. But I'm telling you, people, it's a great feeling. There's a great speech at the end of Scrooge with Bill Murray where he talks about, when he realizes at the end of the movie that, you don't have to wait till Christmas to be nice to people. You can do it every year. And, he gets it. And once you do it once, you're going to get greedy for that feeling, and you're going to love it. And you're going to, want to do it every day. And he's absolutely right. Like, I remember, honestly, I remember working in a video store and a lady coming in. She was an older lady. I can't remember what I did, but I helped this lady do something. And it had nothing to do with my job. She just kind of came in. She needed help. I helped her, and it felt great. Like, it literally, again, another Christmas movie reference, The Grinch. When your heart swells, 10 sizes too big, and um, you just it almost hurts. It feels so good, and I remember having that feeling. It was like, wow, that felt really good. And honestly, I think that might have been like the beginning of all of it. Like that feeling, that first time I, did that nice deed, completely kind of woke me. It was like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this more often. And it doesn't hurt to help, man. It really doesn't hurt to help. I've stopped and helped people push cars before, and just done little silly, stupid little things. And, a little action goes a long way. So, um, not only like talking about, knowing the right thing and doing the right thing, I want to encourage you guys to get out there and do something this week. And that's part of the Monday show as well. I've been kind of leaving everybody on the Monday show with a mandatory Monday, something to kind of do to get outside your normal self, to do something nice for people as well, like something you might not typically do, but just to try it. I tell people to get out there sometimes and just read comic books, to try read this or do this, or let the person behind you in the grocery store go ahead of you, whatever, trying to get people outside of their boxes and their comfort zones and things. And this mandatory Monday, I'm not really going to give you a specific, go read a comic book or go do this. I'm just going to kind of leave it in your court. But, this Monday, I want you to do something that you typically don't find yourself, or this Monday, this week, for mandatory Monday, doing something you typically don't normally do. And it's, something nice. So R4 is telling me I need to go ahead and start wrapping this up here. All right, R4. But, just get out there, try it. Like I said, it's amazing what it'll do for yourself. Like, if even if it's like, something you're doing for somebody else, it's going to make you feel good, which is a little bit, selfish. Like, so you can look at it like that. Like, you're doing something for yourself. If helping them makes you feel good, then just do it for the fact that it makes you feel good, right? Anyway, But and I don't mean just like hold the door open for somebody or whatever. But like really, if you see somebody struggling with something this week, or really in need of help, or even maybe just do what I did, pick a corner of your neighborhood and clean it up. Imagine if everybody did that for a couple hours, you know, on a weekend or a couple hours after work. Just like went for a walk, just picked one little corner of your neighborhood and cleaned it up. If everybody did that, can you imagine what like the world would be like? It's like insane. Like it took me 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours last Tuesday to clean up the pond in the back of my neighborhood, and it felt great. It felt great. I got a great, huge response and like a lot of feedback from it. Did some TikToks for it, and it was just a lot of fun. And you could do something that simple, and I guarantee you, it's going to trigger something inside of you to keep doing it. So there we go. That's what I'm leaving you with this mandatory Monday. Go out there, change the world for a better place. Do something to make the world a better place around you, in your community, with your friends, your family, whatever. And let me know. Let me know what you guys did. Hit that comment section and tell me what you guys, what you guys are up to. Share this video as well. Make sure we get some more subscribers in here. While you're down there commenting, go ahead and hit the like button or dislike button. Let me know how I'm doing. And remember, guys, this isn't goodbye. Simply to be continued. I'll be back on Wednesday. So till next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else, guys. Always great hanging out with you. Hope you have a fabulous Monday and a terrific week. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks.